Darcy here, and today is a very exciting day. UAD has dropped a fantastic feature for Luna. It's the API console. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're in Luna here, and we can see that we have the API Vision console open, and also over here on the right we have the API 2500 bus compressor. This is super exciting because everything you see here is built into the interface. We're getting the benefits of these, premium tools, but they're directly integrated so you don't have to, open up a bunch of different inserts. So let's give a quick overview here, okay? If we're looking at the Vision console, we can essentially add this to any of the tracks along, our session. And we have three different tabs. We have the Insert tab, the Dynamics tab, and the EQ tab, all right? The Insert tab basically allows us to do gaining, a high pass, padding, as well as actually doing some sweeps and filters. So we could, control our high pass, which this is my preferred way, so we can get the exact frequency that we want. And we can also do a low pass, cutting off some highs. I love using this. These two features here are really nice because a lot of times you just need to do these small moves, maybe across multiple tracks, and you got to add an insert. You go grab a Fab, Pro Q3 to do these small things, but you gotta go get the insert it. It's a bunch more steps that this just makes it a lot easier to do. Okay, if we switch over, we go to our Dynamics tab. We have our gate and expansion. We have compression and limiting. And if you're familiar with the API, Vision console, then you know what you're doing here. Otherwise, definitely stay tuned. We'll go into that more later. Then we can go into our EQ, okay? And we essentially have two options here, the 550L and the 560L. If you click this type, it'll toggle between them. And so essentially, if you want to, make some particular settings here, you're going to put up this, like say, what is that, 9 dB at, let's say we put it 15K. And then you can go over to your other type here and you can gain up differently, the frequencies, and you can toggle between them and get a sense, A, B, figure out what sounds better, which EQ, the graphic, or, the 4-band, right? And one thing to note for all of these, each one of these pieces have their own on and off switch. So you can on and off your filters. You can go over to Dynamics, on and off the gate and the compressor, on and off the EQ, right? And that would apply for both of the types. So that's just giving you the ability to obviously check each one of these things as you're going. Now, if you want to bring up presets, you go and click on this little square here. It'll bring up the presets and also bring up an entire visual of all three of the tabs all at once. We also see here that we have a power button, which is basically a bypass for everything. So you'll notice that all of these on and off switches will turn off or on based on what I click. And so you can get that quick internal plug-in bypass for everything. Looking at the 2500 here, we have a bunch of settings available to us, all the important ones right within inside the track. So we have our threshold, our attack, a ratio, a release, a mix, our knee, and our detection. We also have the ability to bypass directly within inside the track itself. If we go and click to see our presets for this, we also get another, same interface. We get some additional settings. One, most importantly, is our gain, which would be available here. Now, you can also, include all of this with inside of templates when you create them. We'll go over that a little bit more later, in another video. But, you can set these things up the way that you like. So you can set, a bus compressor up for your drums, a bus compressor up for your sub mix, whatnot, and then get those things kind of dialed in the way that you want. And then either make some presets or, include this inside of a template. So a lot here in terms of what we can do. Now, there's also one more thing where this all kind of ties into, which is when we want to actually record something, okay? So we can add a, vision to one of our record inputs. And you see, once I added this, it also goes ahead and adds the new API Preamp to the insert, because it assumes that, if you want to include the vision for all that control with inside your console, then you're probably going to want this preamp. And you'll notice that the gain here is actually independent from the preamp than from the actual console from below. And we have the ability to toggle between whether you're doing a line insert or a mic insert. You have the ability to power this whole thing off, which would then bypass this unison preamp and just go into the standard, built-in preamp within the Apollo, and then all the other regular settings. So you can get that API sound all the way through. And one more thing to call out that's relevant for both the recording track as well as the mixing track. The API Vision is also technically an insert. So it will go into the first slot of any of the tracks that you have open, but you can rearrange it into another slot with inside each of the tracks. So let's say, for instance, you are going to be using auto-tune. You could put that auto-tune on that first insert so that, it's affecting, the pitch most correctly, and then you could apply your API stuff afterwards. And, since it's an insert, when you're using it in your recording track, it's not actually affecting the actual printed sound. It'd only be affecting what you're hearing, what you're monitoring back from a mix perspective, whereas your record effects inside Luna are up here for anything that's actually going to be printed. Also, there's one thing I forgot to mention. Both the console and the bus compressor, they're using CPU resources and not DSP. So however you're planning to manage your resources, now you have that information to help you along. I know that's a lot. It's a big overview. It's a big feature. There's a lot involved here. That's why I'm going to do many more videos breaking down many more use cases for how to use all of these new features built into Luna. But hopefully this overview and everything I just threw at you is beneficial for you to get started using this today. If you did find this helpful, let me know in the comments. Let me know what other questions you have specific to this, and we can jump into that in later videos. Otherwise, peace, y'all. I'm out.